Imagine waking up in ancient Rome or the grand palaces of 18th century France. Documentary films and Hollywood movies always show you the glitz, the glamour, the shining armor, and the beautiful dresses. But they conveniently forget to mention one crucial, horrifying detail. The past smelled absolutely apocalyptic. Today we are exposing the grossest, most terrifying, and downright shocking hygiene secrets of history. If you have a weak stomach or you are eating right now, I highly recommend you turn away. History is about to get very, very dirty. Let us start our nightmare in ancient Rome. The Romans are famous for their engineering, their grand aqueducts, and their beautiful public baths. You would think they were the cleanest people in the ancient world, but their daily toilet routine was a literal health hazard. Imagine walking into a public latrine. There are no private stalls. Instead, you find a long stone bench with holes cut out of it. You would sit shoulder to shoulder with 20 strangers, gossiping and talking about the weather while doing your business. But the worst part comes when you finish. There was no toilet paper. Instead, they used something called the xylosponge. This was a natural sea sponge attached to a wooden stick. And here is the terrifying part. They did not have one for every person. They shared it. After use, you would simply rinse the sponge in a small gutter of dirty running water in front of your feet and leave it right there for the next person to use. Imagine the bacteria. Imagine the diseases. This was considered high-end Roman hygiene, and if you think their dental routine was any better, you are dead wrong. Ancient Romans were obsessed with having a bright, white smell. But without modern toothpaste, they turned to a secret ingredient. They used human urine, yes, pee. They would actually gargle with it and brush their teeth with it every single morning. This was not just a strange habit for the poor, it was a massive industry. The ammonia in the urine actually worked to bleach their teeth. It was so highly demanded that they imported the absolute finest urine all the way from Spain in massive barrels. Emperor Vespasian even put a famous tax on urine collection from public toilets because it was so profitable. Moving forward in time, you might think things improved. But after the Roman Empire fell, hygiene did not get better. It completely disappeared. During the Middle Ages, people developed a severe, almost psychotic fear of water. The church began to preach that public bathhouses were sites of sin. Even worse, medical doctors of the time believed that taking a hot bath opened the pores of your skin, which would allow deadly diseases, like the bubonic plague, to enter your body and kill you. Because of this medical advice, people simply stopped bathing. A typical European nobleman might take only 2 or 3 full baths in his entire life. Instead of washing away the dirt, they believed that leaving a thick layer of grime and sweat on their skin acted as a protective shield against illness. To mask the unbearable, suffocating stench of unwashed bodies, the rich layered themselves in overwhelming amounts of heavy perfumes and scented powders. Even the most luxurious places on earth were disgusting. Take the Palace of Versailles in France, built by King Louis XIV. It was a masterpiece of gold and mirrors, but it completely lacked proper plumbing. With thousands of nobles living and partying there, the few existing toilets were constantly overflowing. So, what did the richest, most elegant people in Europe do? They simply relieved themselves in the corners of the palace hallways, behind curtains, or on the staircases. Servants had to clean up human waste from the golden floors every single day. By the 18th century, fashion became a literal horror movie. Aristocratic women wore massive, towering, powdered wigs that were considered the ultimate symbol of wealth. But to maintain these crazy, gravity-defying hairstyles, they used massive amounts of pig fat to shape and hold the hair together. And what loves the smell of rotting animal fat? Rats and mice. Women would literally have mice, spiders, and all sorts of bugs nesting inside their hair for weeks. It got so bad that some wealthy ladies had to sleep sitting up, wearing heavy metal birdcages over their heads just to keep the hungry rats away from their faces while they slept. Finally, imagine walking down a street in London or Paris before modern sewage systems. Most people used a chamber pot in their bedroom. In the morning, you did not flush. You simply opened your second-story window, yelled a warning, and threw the entire bucket of human waste right out onto the street below. You would have to dodge a literal rain of filth just to buy bread. So, the next time you complain about your modern shampoo or getting a bad haircut, just be thankful you did not have to use the shared sponge or sleep with a cage on your head. History was incredibly dirty. If you survived this video, make sure to subscribe to BesHistory for more bizarre truths they didn't teach you in school.